Welcome to this short instructional video on how to use the MyMinesOnline map interface. This is an application that we have already started. The map interface is part of step 3 of the application. We will click on Select Permit Area to access this function. This is the Select Permit Area Selection Method screen. This screen lets you choose from using a grid selection tool or a map interface. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will choose the map interface. This will bring us to the map interface. The interface will default to a full map of Queensland. The Lodgement Toolbar has been designed to give you all of the essentials that you will need to find, select and analyse your land selection. It has been set out in 4 steps, but the system is flexible enough that you can change the order. So let's look at the 4 steps. The first step is Locate. This button will provide you the tools to find the geographic location of your proposed exploration area. These tools will include searching on BIM, subblock and land package. The second step is Select. This is where you will find tools that will enable you to draw your land selection directly on the map. You also have the ability to import shapefiles if you have previously exported a map selection from this tool or your own mapping system. The third step is Check. This is where you can view the constraints or layers directly on the map and produce a land availability report. Finally, the fourth step is to Save. It is important to remember to save before you return to the application. The mapping interface has an export feature that allows you to export a shapefile either for use in this system or for use in another mapping application. So let's start by locating the land that we wish to select. For this example, we are going to navigate directly to a BIM number by clicking on the Zoom button. From here, we can select by block, sub-block or by land parcel. In this example, we will click on Block. Then click in the text field and type in the required BIM number. In this example, we will use Town 1959. Once the BIM number has been entered and selected, click on the Zoom button. This will display the BIM block that we are looking for. From here, you have a few navigation options to move around the map. The map interface comes with a basic scale tool that you can use to zoom in and out of the map. You can use your scroll button on the mouse to zoom in and out. You can use your mouse to drag the map up, down, left or right. You can also use the highlight area on the map to move your map selection. Once you have a view of the map that you are comfortable with, you are ready to either make your land selection or view the constraints of the land. In this example, we are going to view the constraints before we make our selection by clicking on the View Constraints button. The constraints have been applied to the map. These are also known as layers. Now we will look at the applied layers in more detail by clicking on the Layers tab. These are the layers or constraints that have been applied to the map. The items displaying a tick in the tick box have the displayed items and the sub-items applied to the map. The tick boxes that are greyed out have items in their group that are partially selected, and the boxes without ticks are not applied. The View Constraints button automatically displays the layers that may impact the availability of land. We're not going to look at all of the applied layers, but for this demonstration we are going to look at the main ones that apply to this view. Let's start by looking at the exploration permit layers that are displayed on this map by expanding the exploration permits. Expand Mineral. This shows the applied and granted layers. The pattern boxes next to these correspond with the patterned areas on the map. For instance, this is land where an exploration permit has been applied for. If there are a lot of layers displayed on the map, it can be useful to add and remove layers. To show how this works, we will remove the application layer. This has removed the applied for exploration permit from this map. Now we can redisplay by reselecting the application layer. Now let's look at another constraint layer that is visible on this map. This time we will look at the unavailable land. The legend indicates that there is a national park in this map view. So now that we know what the constraints are, we can make an informed land selection. To start our land selection, we will use the Select tool to select subblocks one by one. For the purposes of this demonstration, we will include a subblock that intersects with an applied for exploration permit. We will also select two subblocks that intersect with the national park layers. Now we will use the rectangle tool to speed up the process by drawing over a group of subblocks. Now that the land selection has been made, the availability of the land can be checked with the Land Availability Report. Select the Check Availability button to display the Land Availability Report. This has displayed the Land Availability Report. The Land Availability Report can be viewed on the current screen or dragged to another screen if you are using a dual screen. For this demonstration, we will use a single screen, but move the report so that we can see the map and the report at the same time. The report shows that we have selected a subblock that falls within an applied for minerals exploration permit. We have also selected subblocks that fall within a national park. These subblocks should be removed before the application is submitted. Subblocks can be removed by using the Select tool. Now that the subblocks have been removed, we can check the availability of the remaining selection by using the Check Availability button. This confirms that we have removed the overlapping permit and the unavailable land from our selection. When you are happy with your land selection, the next step is to save. You can do this by clicking on the Save button. It is very important that you save your selection before you return to your application so that you don't lose your selection. Once you have saved, you can return to your application by clicking on the Next button. Your permit area selection has been saved to your application. You can change your selection right up until the time you complete Step 10. That concludes this instructional video. You can repeat the contents of this video by using the controls at the bottom of the screen.